Episode 16, The Mayan Civilization, corresponds to the new scientific interpretation of Descendants of Mars. Hello everyone, welcome to the special lecture on mythology and science. I'm the master of time and space, Dongfeng Hao. 900 years ago, deep in the tropical forests of Central America, on the border between Guatemala and Mexico, lived a mysterious people who called themselves the Maya. Modern archaeologists and historians have yet to discover their origins or the reason for their disappearance. They arrived and disappeared without a trace. They possessed a profound knowledge of the universe, particularly their famous flat-topped pyramids, which demonstrated their exceptional intelligence and profound knowledge of astrophysics. Even stranger, they practiced a primitive slash-and-burn method of survival. They never used iron or other metal tools, and their dwellings were paved with stone. They were courteous and humble, tolerant and forgiving, never hostile to anyone. After surviving for centuries in the jungle, they suddenly vanished without a trace. A new interpretation from Eastern science. The so-called Mayans and Atlanteans are actually descendants of the same Martian lineage. If you watched episode 9, you'll notice striking similarities between the behavior of the Mayans and Atlanteans. It's their mentality that determines their actions. So why did the Martian descendants of Atlantis return? After leaving Earth, the Atlanteans needed to find a place to settle in the vast universe. They traveled the solar system in spacecraft and eventually found a fragment of Mercury's crust in the asteroid belt. This fragment, rich in minerals and abundant groundwater, was ideal for human habitation, but transforming it into a suitable habitat would require an enormous amount of engineering and time. Because the asteroid's surface area is limited, the number of humans it can support is limited. Furthermore, the Martian population is growing, and only robots are suitable for terraforming the asteroid. Too many people would be a burden. Therefore, they decided to send a group of humans back to Earth, where they would live in isolation in the original rainforest of Central America, patiently waiting for the day the asteroid's terraforming would be successful. At that point, they could abandon Earth and return to the asteroid. The astute Martians had already recognized the dangers posed by Venus. A future explosion on Venus would cause a devastating disaster for Earth. The atmosphere and exhaust gases from the explosion would fill Earth's orbit, and Earth would naturally absorb these gases and atmosphere into its atmosphere as it orbited. At that point, Earth's atmosphere would become cloudy and smoky, similar to what we see today on Jupiter and Saturn. Therefore, the Yama people came to Earth with a purely nomadic mindset, seeking neither development nor exploitation, but simply to wait. So why did they build flat-topped pyramids? The reason they built these enormous pyramids was not to worship the sky or the earth, nor to bury the dead. Instead, they were a unique method of long-distance communication, mastered by the Maya. Furthermore, the pyramids also represent the orbits of a planet with a 270-day year. Many people are curious to know which planet in the solar system, according to the Maya, had a 270-day year. The next episode, Legends of the Mythical Moon, will address this mystery, along with the new scientific explanation, exploring the moon.